Hello you lovely people, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name's Kirsten and this is where I art and craft, and today we're continuing with Tracy Fox's December Daily, and we're still Christmas at the cottage, and I'm going to make a piece for inside today. But what I forgot to do was to finish off this bit on the front, which is numbers. Now, as I said, I'm doing it this way because of next week's, and next week's is we go to the library, and I wanted to be a librarian as a child because I loved books, but I made my own wee library catalogues and things, and this just immediately I was like, oh, I can do my own wee library catalogue type thing. So that's why I'm doing this as a file. Because next week is the library. If you've already read next week's story, next week is the library, and it's CPI are back, and there is a case to be solved, Bartholomew, and this front bit then on next week is going to be the CPI number. But I wanted to do that for all the files, just to kind of put a number, so that this is file. It's Christmas at the cottage, and it has a file name in the library. Yeah, I know, sorry, but I can't help myself. So what I want to do is I want to put down a number here, and I'm not going to put CPI on this one. It's just going to be a number that doesn't mean anything at all, and I want to make it look, because this is typed, I want to make it look a bit like it's typed, but it needs to be bigger than this really. So this is 5 numbers that I've got. They're just 5 numbers. Really neat. So what I've done is I've arranged these numbers, can you see, in a kind of, they're not totally straight. I know there's some of you that will really annoy, but they're not straight on purpose, because see, this one here's got a really good kink on it. They're not straight on purpose because it was very hard with typewriters to get them straight when you were going in, trying to get, you could tab over, but sometimes the tab wasn't very good, and yeah. So I just want that kind of vintagey feel to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of further enhance that density, I'm going to use Distress Glaze in Lost Shadow. So I'm just going to damp it with VersaFine glue pad. So there we go, and it's got a bit of bit here that I decided not to knock off, because I just wanted to have it as if there was a faded bit of type there, and I wish I hadn't got the rest of it so well done, but it is done, and that's just got some numbers in the front to make it more like a file. So now we're going to make some pieces for the inside. So I've started off by cutting out the big tags. There's several big tags like this that have another tag alongside, and I can't remember which tag was alongside this one, I'm sorry. And what I've done is I've printed them 2 to a page. I've then chopped off the top of them, and I've separated them into 2 tags. As you can see, this is kind of more almost set up like a booklet kind of idea. And then what I want to do is I want to fold them all in half like that. Oh, I've backed them all with another of the freebie papers that you can get from the members site of Tracie's website. So I have 3 piles now of 5 folded in half little bits. We've got a pile of 5 with the tags either side, and the tags that have been trimmed and cut off. That one needs to go on the outside there, and a 5 of scraps of coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper for there. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to put these papers together. I'm just going to quickly sew this into with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Is I want to round the corners with the big rounder. Hopefully this will still go through here. It will indeed. So let's round the corners with the big rounder. And they're all slightly different pages, so they're all slightly rounding differently, but that's fine. That's fine. And then what I'm wanting to do is I want to come down from the top, and this time I do need to measure. Oh, that's centimetres. 1 inch I think I want to come down, don't I? 2 inches maybe. 1.5 inches from the top. And then with this, which is the notch for making envelopes, put that 1.5 inches in there. I'm hoping that, I don't think I'll get that all through in a wanna. It does disappear in here, that's the one problem I have. Maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that, and I'm going to do it so that the round actually meets, can you see that? This is then flush with that round bit. This comes up, that comes up, and it meets on there. And I'm just going to go for that bit instead. And you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute. So I can do the same with this one. If I go for where that round is, it's right. That's okay, they've ended up in the same place. And what I need to do is I also need to do that with all these. I should do that first. Let's do that first. So what I need to do is I need to round these with the big rounder. And then from the top, well, this one doesn't matter, it doesn't. From the top, put it in so it's like that, and notch it out. When December Daily started, Jodie Lewis did the first day, and the calendar is linked down below, so you can go back to day 1, click on that, and it will take you to Jodie's video. And she's talked about Christmas with her brother decorating the tree. And it brought back memories of my brother and I putting up Christmas decorations as well. And one of the things I used to love about Christmas, and still do, I love decorations, but one of the things I used to love about Christmas and still do, and I love the fact we're having a wee retro revival at the moment, is the paper decorations. And I thought, I'm sure, because then this page, also this one here, not so much these look like really fancy expensive blown glass ones, but this one here in particular, this one to a lesser extent, but this one here in particular reminded me of the paper decorations we had as a child. And we had, there was baubles, and actually there was an angel, and there was a Father Christmas, and there was a snowman, and they used to sit there flat all year, and you'd take them out the box and then you'd open them up, and there was a bell as well. You'd open them up and you'd have these lovely Christmas decorations. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make a notebook with this being in the middle and having that effect on the two for the front and back cover. Now if you still don't know what I'm talking about, I've made a wee mock-up out of book page, and so this is what it'll look like. So that'll be a front cover, will be like that, and the back cover will be like that, and then the book page will be in the centre. Now, I was originally going to cut this down to get that shape, but I decided that if I did that, so this is slightly bigger just because it was a wee mock-up, if I did that here, it was just going to mean there was virtually no writing space at all. So I decided to leave it like that just to get some writing space. But I was showing you that so that you understand what I'm now, well, hopefully you'll understand what I'm now going to do. So I'm going to have these, and I'll just do one side at a time so that you can catch it if you're not sure. So each of these folded bits, on the inside of them, I'm going to do a line of glue along the top, a line of glue at the point there, at that, where that comes in, and a line of glue along the bottom. And then I'm just going to shut them. So a line of glue along the top, a line of glue at the bottom of that notch, and a line of glue along the bottom of that one, and shut it. Now got 5. I'm using 5. You could go for only 3 if you wanted. You could go more and do 7, but you'd want to really use thinner paper than I'm using. So now what we're going to do is, I'm going to do them all. Have them laid out. Turn over the first one, and this time we're going to do a line halfway down here and a line at the top there. And you need to make sure that they're nice and flush along the spine edge when you're gluing. So a line halfway here and a line at the top of that. Just need to make sure that they're all going to open all right, because that's the one thing that can sometimes happen. A wee bit of glue just spills over the pages. Just gradually tease them like that. They will end up bending rather than having a fold, and they will come out. Now, of course, if you were actually going to do this full scale and make a whole Christmas decoration that would go all the way around, then you need to do more. But this is just for a book cover. There we are. Right, and then what I want to do is I want to stick the whole of this on there. So now let's do the back one. To open, really miss my nails at the moment. And of course, what I haven't done and should have done is well, actually, now there's a thought. What I might do is I might wait until the end. I might do these ones just now. Let's get a bit of gold out and let's edge them with some gold. We're getting to that time of day when the sun comes in again. But anyway, we're nearly finished. Here is, now what I've done is I've just taken the two covers and I've taken them round the back. I've used, back in the day, used to be a little bit of metal that used to fold over, but I've used two of the Tim Holtz little paper clips just to show you what you could do if you wanted, because you could have that in the journal and then in the journal. Well, it is a journal, but it's a journal with a difference. And then you could take it out and actually stand it at the desk or something if you wanted, with those little paper clips. But I'm actually going to put a cover on this one and do it slightly differently. So the first thing I need to do is, oh, that's what I meant to say to you. If you do that with the paper clips, you do it as if you were continuing the gluing. So you want your paper clip on near to that line as possible and in the middle of this, because that's then continues your pattern of your pull outs and your folds, your honeycomby pattern. Right, so paper for this, and I thought I might use this big tag. In particular, I was thinking I'm going to use the Christmas tree to cover this. So let me start off just by cutting out, take it round. So the star will be almost like, the trunk and the star will be almost like spine. Can you see that? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I've just done that. And in this case, didn't fold that very straight, did you, Kirsten? In this case, I'm not going to not going to stick the actual spine on at all, just so that I know then it will continue to move. So there's a fold in there of where the spine, and then fold it round to get your other bit of the spine. So so that's the thickness of it. So let's just put a wee, and now give a proper fold down there. And then what I want to do is, I think it's going to be far easier to cut this to shape before I stick it down, isn't it? So let me it's going to be far easier to cut this before I stick it down, so I'm just using a pencil and just tracing round. So let's see. No, I've got away with it. I've got away with it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to ink inside here. This was one of those things that you get in the bins down the middle of the discount supermarkets, and it was a ribbon at Christmas. I think they were only something like 50p each, and it has these Christmas trees on it. It's a 3-stranded thing, and there's beads on it. And there was this one with the Christmas trees and beads, and there was another one that had stars and something on it, I think. And the ribbons, and I got them and pulled them apart for all the bits. And this is the last, and that was a couple of years ago now. In fact, it would be before COVID. And this is the last of them. Now I'm just wondering if I've got enough. I don't know if I've got enough actually to do what I was going to do with that. Just put that over there for a second and let me think, because that means I would only have those two, which is enough to tie a knot. Right, okay. On the front, at the 2 points where the glue would be if I was continuing. I want to put a dab of glue and put that ribbon on there. And I'm just wondering whether I want to put something on to help stick that down. I might just put now and a dab of glue and stick that one down. And that one's okay, so that one will be okay as well. And now let's get my glue stick, and I've only just put this all over it so the whole thing's stuck down, and then put another dab of 3 in 1 that glitter on the ribbon all the way around the edge to make sure the edges are stuck. Don't start peeling up or anything. Right, and then let's put that on there. Again, making sure we're nicely flush in there. That's kind of needs to go. It's come out a wee bit too far. Let's push that down a bit. That's better. That's better. Then we want to do the same on the back. So now what we have is we've got these ties that will tie this closed, and also, oh, that glue's not quite dry there because I ended up with a very big bit of dab of glue. And also, oh, I forgot to do the other thing. The other thing you need to do is you need to do a fold the other way in this so that it will go in here. So let me show you. So if you put something like a bone folder in to make this bend as it comes round and go in the way, can you see? So you're bending it to go in the way as it comes round, because it needs to go in that centre bit. And then you can bring this, but you need to get it to go in the centre bit because there's too much, because this is a bigger bit of paper, so you really need to get it to go in that centre bit. That's why you didn't want to stick it, because you don't want it stuck in the centre bit when you're using it as a journal. Then you bring that round. I don't want to tie these because they're not quite dry yet, but you can see how you bring that round, and then you can tie those. So you can have it tied open as your ornament, or you can have it tied shut as your book. So can you see how now that's a hinge that's going in the way, so that you can bring that round and tie it open and you have an ornament. Or don't put the ties on and use the paper clips like I showed you when we came back. So I'm just wondering whether I want to do anything on this front cover, and I do feel that this area here is a bit empty, and right, so I've got these little stars and I'm just going to put some of them up there. I'm not going to put them all on, but we'll see where we go. We'll put sort of bring this back. I think this is probably set now, so I'm just going to tie this shut. And because it's this kind of ribbon, it will actually hold shut with one tie like that. So I'm just going to shorten it slightly so that it's not too long. Got to leave enough to actually be able to do the knot, but actually you don't need to do a bow or anything, and it's going to be too much to do a bow. And I wasn't thinking putting that star down here for when because the next thing I want to do is I need to decide where I'm going to put this, and it needs a pocket. Now it depends, because it's shutting like that, if I'm putting it down here, the pocket needs to go up the way so that when it's shut, it's still holding it in. And what I'm thinking is, because this is the Christmas tree on the outside, it should go down somewhere here. I was going to say there, but of course it's not going to go down there because of the fold. So I'm thinking if I put it there beside the fireplace, or do I put it that side? I think I'm going to put it here beside the fireplace. And I'm going to use this, which was the parcel at the bottom of it, to make a little pocket for it. Of course, I was thinking this is the reason why I kept this was I was thinking, well, that means you've got the right proportion, but this parcel in the is a lot further forward than the tree, so it's looking way too big. So maybe I need to have a look and see if I can find something else to make the see, maybe those parcels are a better proportion. But again, they're quite far forward as well. Let me just have a wee shifty through all this stuff again. I think maybe I'm going to use that one then. Can't remember what I was going to use that for. I thought I was going to use that for something else. Oh, there's that in a smaller size, and actually I think that's going to fit better. So let's use this instead. So let's start by just turning it down. In fact, we'll have the whole thing double thickness, I think. Or is this not going to be long enough? No, I think it's going to be all right. Yeah, let's have the whole thing double thickness, just because it's going to need to be quite sturdy. A wee bit of glue there, but that's not going to matter because that's going to be at the back. Right, so let's put that in the centre like that, and then we need something that's that thick and round, and that thick and round. Yep. So what we want to do is we want to fold the edge of that red. The sun got too strong coming in the window for me to sit and work here. I was making this box pocket for the Christmas tree, and I suddenly realised I was miles away from the table and you couldn't see what I was doing anyway. So I finished off doing the pocket that you saw me start, but as I said, the sun was giving me jip and I ended up in the middle of the room, so it wasn't filmed. But it's just a simple box pocket. Get your paper, measure it to the width, then fold, measure it to the depth, fold, and you take it behind so that it's hugging it. And I always put a bit on the back as well, just because otherwise you see working out, as it were. I also put a bit of this offcut, which is the kind of tealy colour backing papers, just to neaten up off the bottom, because you kind of see that but it all kind of blends in nicely. I'm not concerned about that not shutting, because actually it's a file and files kind of end up bigger. If I was concerned, if you're doing this and that concerns you, then just make a gusset. It would be easy enough because of this. You've got extra height here. I could just score along there, bring that and put a gusset along the bottom. I'm not inclined to do that at this stage. Might change, who knows? But for now, I'm not inclined to do that. So we've got a number, we've got our little notebook in its pocket beside the fire. And that's it for today. I hope there was something here that you enjoyed or inspired you. Do let me know if there was, because it's nice to know, so that I know whether I'm wasting my time or whether I'm doing anything that's actually bringing anybody else any joy. I hope you're trying December Daily. The links are down below, so please pop along and see what other people are doing, even if you're maybe not doing it yourself or not recording it yourself. Until next time, you take care. Keep crafting. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.